Week 0 is in the books, and now it's time to get it on in college football. Here's a look at the AP Top 10, and now let's talk college football with Chris Gordy, the host of the Locked On SEC podcast. So, Chris, Week 1 is upon us. Which matchup are you most looking forward to? And I imagine it's one that involves an SEC team and an ACC team, given you're the host of the Locked On SEC podcast.
Yeah, it's a game I'm going to be down in Orlando for coming up this Sunday night. It's the only matchup this week of two top 10 ranked teams, and that's number 5 LSU against number 8 Florida State. Monster matchup in Week 1. These two teams played Week 1 a year ago. LSU lost by just a point. Some Heisman implications with the two quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels versus Jordan Travis. Two strong defenses as well. Can't wait to see this in person. LSU's around a 2.5-point favorite. Just found out their star D lineman Mason Smith going to have to sit out due to an NCAA violation from something that happened 2 years ago. But that to me is the best matchup of the weekend.
I think you got to look at TCU, Colorado. I mean, you can say Deion Sanders is a lot of things, but boring is not one of them. This is going to be intriguing for the entire season. And as far as TCU is concerned, they're going to have Chandler Morris back, who got hurt coincidentally in their opener last year against Colorado. So it should be a lot of fun to see what he and Sonny Dykes can do with this offense.
I'm going to say Texas and Rice, only because Texas, if they are truly for real, they should have no problem with Rice. I'm also kind of interested in Rice and its offense when you've got JT Daniels, the 26, 27, 28, however old he is, quarterback playing for Rice. And of course, the Owls are coming off their first bowl game since 2013. Can they hang with Texas? I don't think they can, but can they at least make it difficult for the Longhorns? Matt?
I'm going to go local and go UTSA at the University of Houston. Look, this is a team that Dana Holgorsen has been recruiting for 2 years. He's been recruiting to the Big 12 for 2 years. He said, well, we've got to get to Big 12 talent. I don't think they have the overall talent that they need to compete regularly in the Big 12, but they have improved talent, and it should be good. But UTSA has won their conference the last couple of years, and that starting quarterback is really good. I think he's been there like 7 or 8 years at UTSA. He's the oldest road runner ever, I think, to play there. I'm looking for that matchup because U of H, if it wants to go where it needs to go, they got to show they can do it in the opener. Let's not blow up on the launch pad. 8 wins last year. That was good, but it's going to be a challenge. And this is one they have to get in the W column if they want to have a winning record this year, I think.
Obviously, rankings mean not much this time of the season. Is there a team that is ranked too high, in your opinion, Chris?
Yeah, I'm looking at Alabama a little crooked, and
really?
that may be blasphemous. Look, preseason number 4. I know Nick Saban gets the benefit of the doubt, and he's earned it. But they just lost their Heisman-winning quarterback in Bryce Young. They lost their stud pass rusher in Will Anderson Jr. They had both of them last year and lost 2 games. And somehow you're going to convince me this team is going to be better than last year's Bama team with a new quarterback, with looking for who's going to be the next elite pass rusher. I'm just not buying it. They still have a quarterback battle going on. They play a game this Saturday and still have not announced who their quarterback is. They introduced 2 new coordinators in Tommy Rees and Kevin Steele. Again, Saban's earned the benefit of the doubt. I'd have them more like 6, 7, somewhere in there, not preseason top 4.
Yeah, ranked too high. I think you got to go with the UT Longhorns. I mean, I know that that's going to ruffle some feathers with fans out there, but the reality is that Steve Sarkisian has never won more than 9 games in a season.
My annual answer to this question is UT and Notre Dame. Every year, I just say, yeah, who's overrated? UT and Notre Dame. That's why everybody always overrates these guys.
I'm going to say Texas A&M at 23. Here's a team that finished under 500, and yes, there's talent, but I think there's a lot of questions. I know there's a ton of 5-star guys. I think there's a few top 5-star guys left. Chris, is 23 a bit of a stretch, do you think, for the Aggies?
It's probably about where they belong. I mean, look, that's a program the past 2 years that's been preseason top 10. So at least the writers aren't, going that far with the Aggies. But big question marks, how does Bobby Petrino call in plays? Does he headbutt with Jimbo at all? That buyout is still, $70 million after this year? But don't doubt that oil money. Those people will raise those dollars if there's not improvement in College Station.
How about now looking at the AP Top 25, a team that is ranked too low, Chris?
Well, Zach and Matt are going to hate this answer, but I think it's Texas. Ranked number 11, I think they're a top 10 team. This Longhorn team is loaded heading into year 3 with Steve Sarkisian. Quarterback Quinn Ewers, reports are he looks much improved throughout the summer. Keep in mind, before he got knocked out of that game last year in Austin, they were on their way to a pretty good lead on Alabama and probably beating Alabama and Bryce Young a year ago. You got wide receivers galore, Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, Jordan Whittington, Isaiah Nayer. They got to replace that backfield. Of course, you lose Bijan and Roshan, but I've heard the defense looks much improved. They bring in some DBs from the transfer portal, Gavin Holmes from Wake Forest, Jalen Catalon from Arkansas. Huge test in week 2 going to Tuscaloosa, but I think Texas breaks through. I think they win the Big 12 in their final year in the conference.
Yeah, I think if I look at which team is ranked not high enough, I think I'm going to have to go with the Oregon State Beavers, not the other OSU. And I'm going to have to say that because I covered a guy named DJ Uiagalelei in high school. He transferred to Oregon State, and he actually played against Bryce Young in high school. I watched him take his team and bring them back from a game where they were down by a lot to overcome against Bryce Young and an extremely talented modern day team. This guy, why I say that is because he has the goods. He has it inside of him to be a champion. But right now, things have not gone the way that he wanted them to at Clemson. He's getting a fresh start, and I think he's got the talent to take this team possibly inside the top 15, top 10 this year.
Well, my knee-jerk reaction is to say Kansas State because everyone knows that they have a great shot to win the Big 12, but that would be, homerism on my part as a K-State grad. I'm going to go back to the UTSA Roadrunners. I talked about these. They just missed the top 25. Frank Harris, that quarterback that's been there 7 years, he is tremendous. They are number 12 in the nation last year in total offense. UTSA is really good, and the other team on the cusp is Donovan Smith and those U of H Cougars. I mean, I think Smith will inject more into that offense than people expect because he fell down to second string at Texas Tech, but he is really good, big athletic quarterback. And the thing holding UH back is they need to score early. Last year, they wouldn't start scoring really until the second half. But I think between those two, both are underrated. Both have it. I don't expect U of H to be in the top 25, but UTSA, I think, should have been there.
I'm going to go Utah at 14. They obviously have a couple of difficult tests early on with Florida and Baylor, but I think if they get past them, I think Utah could definitely be a top 10 team. So I'm going to say they're ranked a little bit too low. All right, college football is upon us. And of course, Chris Gordy is the host of the Locked On SEC podcast. Chris, what do you have this week coming up on the show?
Getting you ready for week 1. We got plenty of previews. Like you mentioned, Utah versus Florida on Thursday night. Missouri, they play Thursday. And then, of course, those big matchups this weekend. One of the big ones, sneaky one to watch, North Carolina, South Carolina, coming up on Saturday. Drake May versus Spencer Rattler. Luckily, as Texans fans, we don't have to be looking for future quarterbacks that we're going to draft.
Chris Gordy, as always, thanks for being on Sports Extra.